In this unit of study, we are going to review elements of drama, plot, characters, and theme using a Shakespearean drama. You've probably heard of William Shakespeare. He was an English playwright who lived between the years 1564 and 1616. He wrote more than 37 plays and over 154 sonnets. Shakespeare lived more than 400 years ago, so you might be wondering, why is he still so popular and why should we read his work? One reason for his popularity is that people can relate to his archetypal characters. An archetype is a familiar character type that appears over and over again in literature. William Shakespeare mastered the use of archetype characters. He also centered his stories on themes that include topics of loyalty, power, greed, revenge, love, and these themes are timeless. They are lessons that we still struggle with in our modern day. So even though the style of speaking and the way characters talk to one another throughout Shakespeare's dramas isn't quite how we would talk today, his archetypal characters plus themes that we can relate to make for some really interesting stories. One style of archetype that Shakespeare liked to use is the tragic hero. A tragedy is a drama in which a series of actions leads to the downfall of the main character, who is called the tragic hero. The tragic hero is usually someone who has a high social rank, like a king or a prince or a nobleman. He has a tragic flaw that leads to his downfall. Often that tragic flaw is hubris, which is a type of excessive pride. At the end of the story, he suffers a type of ruin, either losing everyone he loved or losing things that are close to him, or he dies. But before he does so, he realizes his downfall or his tragic flaw, and so he faces his death with courage and dignity. So here's what this might look like on a plot diagram. At the beginning of our story, our tragic hero has confidence, wealth, happiness, and everything seems to be going his way. In the rising action, we will see exciting scenes that involve love, loyalty, power, greed, maybe seeking revenge, or some combination of these things, all that start to cause trouble for our tragic hero, usually because of his pride. Every scene in the drama will contribute in some way to the rising action, which further develops the plot and will lead to the climax of the story. At the climax of the story, all of the elements come together, and usually the tragic hero realizes how what he has done has affected himself and those around him. The part that makes it a tragedy, and not a story with a happy ending like we are used to seeing in our movies, is that after the climax of the story, our tragic hero loses everything he loves, or he dies. This archetype of a tragic hero is one we see over and over in Shakespeare's plays. In many of our modern action movies or superhero movies, the main character is created around this archetype of a tragic hero. Think about a movie you've seen or a story you've read in which the plot includes one or more of these elements. What was the plot of the movie? What happened to the hero? Write a short summary. If you cannot think of a movie that meets some or all of the criteria for a Shakespearean tragedy, write a paragraph that summarizes your understanding of what you can expect to find in a tragedy written by William Shakespeare.